Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
We're back, boys. We are so back today. It's good to hear from you again. This is Graham Yavina of the GSMC Baseball Podcast. Welcome back, boys. Today we're talking about the scores and the figures from yesterday's game, April 23rd, Friday. Let's do this. So, a lot happened, obviously. The first game we got to talk about is the Brewers and the Cubbies. Let's get into it. So, let's first read the box score. The box score is basically the gentle introduction of what happened in the game. It tells you the hits, the runs, the errors, that kind of simple stuff. The harder part is the game cast or the recap. That's what I like to see. But anyway, box score. Oh, wow, would you look at that. The Cubs have won the game 15-2. 15-2, that's pretty decisive. So if you don't know, the Cubs went into this game, and they weren't so hot. They were 9-9. Very even record. And they needed to win to put them over the 500 edge. Looks like they got it. Good for them. And the Brewers were before the best team in the NL Central at 11-7. And now it looks like the Cubbies took them over today. Good job. So the Cubs got 15 runs, 17 hits in 9 innings. And that's pretty good. Milwaukee scored 2 runs. Okay. And 7 hits, fine. But that's not enough these days. So let's talk about the makeup of the team, just first of all. Before we get into that, here's something that's really fascinating. The trivia question of the day. So, who is the Chicago Cubs' all-time leader in franchise home runs? While you ponder that, let's actually talk about the makeup of the team. Every day I do this podcast, thinking about the trivia questions, it's extemporaneous, which means that I just do it from the heart. You never know what I'm going to say next. I'm unpredictable. That's why you tune in. Anyway, so batting for the Brewers today was Colton Wong at second base. Good for him. I like Colton Wong. Great defender, great defense. We love that guy. In left field is Billy McKinney, the former Oakland A. Left field. Batting in right field is Avisail Garcia. And batting third base is Travis Shaw. At first base, although later on in the game he was moved to second base, is Keston Hiura. First base, second base, Keston Hiura. Center field, our good friend Jackie Bradley Jr., JBJ, at the scene. Center field. Catcher is Manny Piña. You know what Piña means? In Spanish it means pineapple. Yeah, that's right, Manny Pineapple. You be a catcher. 0-4. Shortstop is Luis Urias. And pitching today is Brian Anderson. You guys want to know a fun fact? So Brian Anderson actually came up from the... Wait, is that his name? I want to make sure that I have the right facts. Brett Anderson. Okay, that's embarrassing. Brian Anderson is the third baseman for the Marlins. Brett is the redheaded pitcher for the Brewers. Very different people. Anyway, Brett's a big old boy. He's 6'4", 230 pounds. Love to see it. Healthy frame. And he is a lefty pitcher for the Brewers. Started the game. Did not go his way. Remember, the Cubs won the game 15-2. And he was chased after only getting 1 out. Ouch. And for the Cubbies, my second favorite team in Chicago, batting first was Wilson Contreras, the catcher. How many times do you think a catcher was batted lead off before? I know Jason Kendall was pretty fast for a couple of years. Maybe he did that a few times, I don't know. That's pretty unusual. But I do know that Contreras has been off like a rocket this year. Might as well get the genie in the bottle and just capture that real fast. So he batted lead off. And then batting second was Chris Bryant, who today was in left field. He was in left field. We support that, right? We support that. Batting third was Eric Sogard. Wait, that can't be right. Why would you put Eric Sogard? No, so Bryant was in left field, but he was replaced later on by Eric Sogard, who played second. Got you. Okay, so Contreras was first. Bryant was second. Third was Anthony Rizzo at first base. Tony Rizzo, first base. Batting after him was Javier Baez at shortstop. Then there was David Bodie at third base. Then Jason Hayward in right field. Then Jake Marisnick in center. Then Nico Horner playing second base. Later moved to left field later on. And then pitching today on the bump was Kyle Hendricks, the soft tosser finesse pitcher extraordinaire. And that was excellent. Okay, so pitching today for the Brewers, Brett Anderson, Josh Lindblom, who I'm looking at stats right now as box score, and holy cow, this looks bad. Like you know when you walk in on like a crime scene and you're like, oh my god, who did this? That's the same reaction I had when I saw Josh Lindblom's line score today. Don't worry, I'll tell you all about it, babe. Just sit tight. Pitching after him was Drew Rasmussen. Then there was Perdomo. Then Eric Yardley. Evan Robertson. Now it says, I think it's Daniel Robertson. Yeah, Daniel Robertson was pitching. He's actually a second baseman. So Daniel Robertson is a position player who had to pitch for the Brewers today. Whenever that happened, you know something bad happened. And for the Cubbies, there's Hendricks, Kyle Ryan, and Dylan Maples. The big three. And together they solved all of this. And you know, I got to say, I appreciate the fact that the Cubbies won a game. They're a good team. They deserve to be happy in life. I got no beef with them. Anyway, here is a play-by-play. Remember, scores 15-2. So the ball in first inning, Anthony Rizzo's facing off against Brett Anderson. He hits a double to right field, and Chris Bryant scores. Cubbies up 1-0. And at some point, Brett Anderson comes out after the game after this. So Brett Anderson comes out of the game after Rizzo doubles and scores in Chris Bryant. So after giving him only one run of his own accord, Brett Anderson's out of the game. Now, I don't know if he got injured. I don't know if he just didn't want to be there, but his manager took him out of the game pretty early after pitching to one batter. Well, actually, after only getting one out. So his line score is 0.1 innings pitched, several earned runs. So Anderson does give up a double to Anthony Rizzo, scoring Chris Bryant. And I wonder why he comes out of the game. It looks like what happened was Contreras ground out third base. Bryant hit a double to left field. Rizzo hits another double, scoring Bryant. And then Baez drives in Rizzo from third. So at that point, Anderson gets taken out of the game, and they bring in the new guy, Josh Lindblom. So Lindblom is about to make Anderson's day look worse. So remember, the score is still 1-0, and Rizzo's on third base, Baez is on first base, and Chris Bryant just scored. And I think there's one out. So Bodie is facing against Lindblom, and Lindblom pitches. Bodie hits a single, an infield single to a shortstop, and beats it out. Rizzo scores, Baez goes second, and Bodie gets to first base. Lindblom then walks Hayward, and now the bases are loaded, full of Cubbies. Bodie's on second, Baez is on third, Hayward's on first. Then now batting is Jake Marisnick. Now Marisnick's a nice guy. You know, he's nice, but he can't hit, right? So Lindblom's safe, right? One out, get a double play, you're good. No. Marisnick hits double to left field, driving in Baez, Hayward, and Bodie. 3-run double. Score is now 5-0. First inning, only one out has come in. So then, Nico Horner's batting against Lindblom. He's a rookie. And Marisnick's on second base. He can fly. So then Horner hits another double to left field, driving Marisnick. Scores now 6-0. Now Lindblom, I think that Lindblom is still pitching. Strikes out Hendricks, the pitcher. And then finally strikes out Contreras. So in one inning, the Cubbies are already up 6-0. And at that point, do you really need to keep playing? I oppose mercy rules, but I do think at some point it just becomes obvious and a waste of time for anybody else to keep playing. Like, if you're up by 6 runs in the first inning and you're going to win the game 15-2, is it worth ruining your pitchers to try to ensure victory? I'd say it is, but you gotta have a conversation at some point. Anyway, so then after that, Milwaukee gets back in, and top of second inning, they do nothing. Hero lines out center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. flies out center. Pino flies out. Now the Cubbies are back. The Cubbies are back. Bryant, who hit a double last inning, facing Lindblom again, hits a foul ball, fouls out to first base. Hits a pop fly in foul territory, and first baseman catches it. One away. And then Anthony Rizzo crushes a home run to right field. 401 feet, pulls it, 7-0 Cubs. Then Lindblom, having learned nothing, gives up a home run to Baez back-to-back. Baez hits one center field, 413 feet. Then Bodie walks, and then Hayward triples to deep center. So Bodie scores, and Hayward's on third base. And then Marisnik's up again. He hits a ground ball to first base, driving in Hayward. So now the Cubbies are up 10-0. Now, Nico Hoerner walks. Now, Lindblom finally strikes out the pitcher, Hendricks, again. But think about it. If it was an American League club, Lindblom might still be pitching out there. The only guy who's gone out besides Hendricks is Contreras. And you can't survive by only getting out like 10% of the lineup. So, that was bad. 4-run score, 3 hits allowed. Not a good look. Ouch. Does Josh Lindblom do this usually? Let me Google this. Josh Lindblom. Here at the GSMC podcast, we're very interested in statistics. I always come prepared with the facts. Okay, so Lindblom is 6'4", 240 pounds, from Lafayette, Indiana. He's 33 years old. He went to Purdue University and later went to University of Tennessee. Drafted when he was 23 years old. Doesn't say which round. Probably not very highly. His career, he's pitched in 130 games, ERA of 4.42, WAR of 1 even. 199 innings pitched, 187 strikeouts. His WAR so far is negative 0.1. Now, after today, it's probably not going to be very good either. So, that's just the way it goes. Career ERA plus of 93. So 7% worse than league average when it comes to pitching for run prevention. I don't mean to clown Josh Lindblom. I'm sure he's a better pitcher than 99% of the people on the planet. But geez, this was not a good day for him. So, top of the third inning, Brewers back in. Urias flies out. Lindblom strikes out. Wong hits a single, but McKinney strikes out. No help there. Now the Cubbies, Lindblom is still in the game. I guess Counsell, the manager of the Brewers, Craig Counsell, probably just thought, you know what, game's over. Let's just not waste our bullpen if we can help it. So, Lindblom's still pitching. Contreras strikes out swinging. So Contreras is now over 3 against this very hittable pitcher today. I mean, ouch. Let me get some more facts about that. So, Lindblom's facing him. First pitch curveball at 68 miles an hour. And Contreras swings over the top of it. Then Lindblom throws a ball, a changeup, 82 miles an hour, out low and outside. By the way, why would you throw a curveball then a changeup? And then Lindblom does it again. He throws a second changeup. Foul ball, 82 miles an hour. Then Lindblom throws a 90 mile an hour fastball, low and inside, and it's fouled off. And then Lindblom strikes out Contreras on a high fastball at 89 miles an hour. Ew. Anyway, so Bryant hits a single to left field after that. Rizzo flies out, and Baez grounds to fielder's choice. So Lindblom has a clean inning. No runs allowed, only 1 hit. The Brewers do nothing top of the 4th. Cubbies are back in the game in the bottom of the 4th. Lindblom is still in the game. So Bodie lines at center field. Hayward grounds to third base. And Marisnik hits a home run to left field. 394 feet. 11-0 Cubs. Hoerner gets infield single. Hendricks strikes out looking. Hendricks is 0-3 of strikeout in all 3 at-bats. He had a pretty bad day at the plate. Now, I know he's a pitcher, but the fact remains that 33% of Lindblom's outs have come from the same source, which is telling. The Brewers do nothing in the 5th inning, and the Cubbies are back in the bottom of the 5th, and finally Lindblom is replaced by Rasmussen. Contreras walks, Bryant singles to center field, Rizzo lines out, Baez strikes out, and Bodie grounds to the pitcher. Clean inning for the Cubs. For the Brewers, sorry. Now, in the Brewers' top of the 6th inning, eventually Colton Wong hits a home run. McKinney backs him up with another home run of his own. They reduce the gap 11-2. The Cubbies continue to pile it on. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Austin Romine pinch hits for Hendricks after Hayward walks and Marisnik's hit by a pitch. And Romine hits a double to left field, driving in Jason Hayward. Marisnik goes third base. And then right then there, Contreras finally stops sucking and hits a 3-run home run. 15-2, Cubbies. And the Cubbies hold their lead. They continue to hold the lead, give no more runs, score no more runs, and win the game. 15-2 Chicago Cubs over the Brewers. That was the game from Friday the 23rd. Now, here are the games from Thursday the 22nd. Because as of recording, no more games have been processed yet. Voice crack there. And so here are the games from Thursday. And the first one up is from the Diamondbacks and the Reds. But you know what? I like Diamondbacks. I want to have time on them. Let's do a different game first because I got 5 minutes left in the segment. So let's talk about the Pirates and the Tigers. So first of all, both teams are in need some help. So the Pirates are now 9-10. They are 2.5 games back. Negative 16 run differential in the National League Central. And the Tigers are 7-12 with a negative 28 run differential. I wonder what happened here. 2 really not good teams competing against each other. Love to see it, you know. Like, some people would like to see the Yankees and the Red Sox, but I like to see the Pirates and the Tigers because those games are just as fun, just competitive, just evenly matched, except they're a lot cheaper. So that's what I like to do, financially speaking. And anyway, pitching for the Pirates was Mitch Keller. Good job. Pitching for the Tigers was Jose Urena. And he was, remember, the former Marlin, so he came over to pitch for the Tigers. Now, playing for the Pirates was a good crew. There's Adam Frazier at second base. Left field is Phillip Evans. Center field, there's Brian Reynolds. First baseman, Colin Moran. He's been doing great this season. Second base is Eric Gonzalez. DH is Todd Frazier, who is still playing. 35 years old, still playing. Wow, he's had a long career. And so far to date, he is, I guess, 0 for 4, if that's his thing so far. He's only played 1 game this season. So Todd Frazier's DHing. Polanco is in right field. Gregory Polanco, that is. Jacob Stallings, a catcher. And Kevin Newman from the University of Arizona, what was almost my alma mater, playing shortstop. Playing for the Tigers, Robbie Grossman at DH. And this guy can fly. Plays left field. He's very speedy. Good player. Underrated. Switch hitter. DH. Batting first. Second base is Willie Castro. Second base. Third base is Jaimer Candelario. Third base. Catcher is Wilson Ramos. After a great year so far. First base is Jonathan Scope from the Netherlands. Shortstop is Nico Goodrum. Good for him. Left field is the sensation Akil Badu, playing left field. Right field is Victor Reyes, doing great. I think Reyes actually played for Diamondbacks at one point. I think we traded Bronson Arroyo to the Braves and got back Reyes, and then we traded him to the Tigers for some stupid reason. That was in the Dave Stewart era that we prefer not to remember. In center field is Jacoby Jones. Jacoby Jones, the versatile, cantankerous player. And pitching for the Tigers, again, was Jose Urena, followed by Jose Cisnero, followed by, I believe, Gregory Soto, the reliever, then followed by Alex Lange? Lange. Alex Lange, I believe is how it's pronounced. And finally, closed up by Daniel Norris, Van Man, back in the saddle. His picture is really cool. He's got like long hair now and a mountain beard, looking the part. And pitching for the Pirates was the aforementioned Mitch Keller, doing a great job this year. Then relieving was Dwayne Underwood Jr. Dwayne Underwood Jr. Then there was Sam Howard relieving. After that, there was Chris Stratton relieving from the Giants. Oh, he's from Tupelo, Mississippi. Cool. Small world. And then closing out was Richard Rodriguez. Love to see that. Rodriguez is on my fantasy team this year. Good for him. And that's it for this segment. While you're pondering that, just think about who's the all-time franchise leader that we talked about before. And we'll get back to you after the break. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Peace.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
And we're back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, Round 2. This is the Grammy Avena segment. And today I was joined unexpectedly by my guest, Lily. Would you like to introduce yourself? If you can't tell, Lily is a cat. She is a 4-year-old Tonkinese, and all she does is just eat and sleep all day, like 16 hours a day. And, I went to, use the restroom. I opened the door. She came in, and somehow ended up on my chair. And if I try to remove her, it'll create a scene, and we can't have that here at the podcast. So, Lily, as far as I know, is here to stay. Lily, do you have anything you'd like to plug? All right. Well, thanks for your, contribution. And we're going to go ahead and continue with our analysis of the teams and the scores from yesterday's ball games. So before we do that, the question I asked you before the break was, which Cubby leads its franchise in career home runs? Who leads the Chicago Cubs in career home runs? And the answer, and I was surprised with this because I thought it was going to be Ernie Banks. But he's number 2. The career home run leader for the Cubs is Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa. And that makes sense because I know Sosa has like 606 home runs, and he did most of them with the Cubs. But I did not expect, I thought it really was going to be Ernie Banks. But yeah, here are leaders. So for the Cubbies, for career home runs, number 1 is Sammy Sosa, 545. Number 2 is Ernie Banks, 512. 3 is Billy Williams at 392. 4th is Ron Santo, 337. 5th is Ryan Sandberg, 282. 6th is Aramis Ramirez, 239. And 7th, tied, is Gabby Hartnett and Anthony Rizzo for 231. That Anthony Rizzo trade when he went from the Padres to the Cubs was such a bad trade. He was traded for Andrew Cashner, right? Straight up? That's a really bad trade. Anyway, I digress. Here's another question. And I saw this just a minute ago. What was the first name for the Chicago Cubs ball club? What was their first name? And while you ponder that, let's talk about the facts and figures about the Pirates and the Tigers' last place squabble, kerfuffle in Detroit. Let's do it. So, on the mound, again, was Mitch Keller for the Pirates. For the Tigers, it was Jose Urena. And let's talk about the final result. So, well, actually, no. Let's do a play-by-play first. A play-by-play. I like that better. Okay. So, on top of the first inning, Adam Frazier was batting. Urena for Detroit was pitching. And he doubled deep center field on the first pitch of the game. Double, right? 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, double. And then Phillip Evans, batting next, fouls out to the catcher. Pop fly, catcher catches it. Then Brian Reynolds, single center field. And then Adam Frazier scores from second base. Scores now 1-0 Pirates. Colin Moran grounds to shortstop. Reynolds goes second base. So 2 outs. Run scoring position. And then Eric Gonzalez Single center field. Brian Reynolds scores. Gonzalez goes second base on the throw. So now it scores 2-0 Pirates. But Todd Frazier grounds out like a monster to third base. 2-0 Pirates up. The Tigers come back. So Grossman hits a foul ball to third base, catches it in foul territory, 1 out. Castro strikes out swinging, and Candelario grounds out third base. 3 up, 3 down. Very simple inning for Mitch Keller. Top of the second inning, I think it's the Pirates, they do nothing. In the bottom of the second inning, the Tigers are back. Ramos strikes out swinging. Scope grounds to third base. Nico Goodrum hits a double deep right field. And then Akil Baddoo, who is lightning hot, the rookie, triple center field. Goodrum scores. Evan Reyes lines to the left field. That's all in the second inning. So now the score is 2-1, and the Pirates are up. Good game all around. After that is the Tigers. The Tigers are batting in the bottom of the third inning, and Jones flies out to right field. Grossman grounds out to the pitcher, and Castro grounds out to first base. So nothing happens again for a long time until the bottom of the fifth inning. And now, Keller is still pitching, and the Pirates are in the field, and the Tigers are batting. So Akil Baddoo leads off, strikes out swinging. And the pitch he struck out on was a fastball right down the middle of the plate, actually. 95, straight heat, couldn't catch up, strikeout. Then Victor Reyes strikes out swinging, too. And then Jacoby Jones takes a ball, a slider, 87 miles an hour. Then he gets a fastball in the nitro zone. He crushes it deep to right field, 381 feet. Wow. Then Grossman singled to right field, and then Castro grounds out to fielder's choice. That's the ball in fifth inning, and now the game is tied. What's going to happen next? Who knows? But now the game's interesting. Last place teams, tie game in Detroit. What's going to happen next? So then, the Pirates take the field. They do nothing there. The Tigers are batting again. They do nothing there. Top of seventh, the Pirates get to bat again. They do nothing there. Urena, the starting pitcher, is still on the mound. And then in the bottom of the seventh inning, nothing happens there. Nothing happens again until top of the eighth inning. When that happens, the Pirates are batting. And Cisnero is pitching for Detroit. So then, Newman grounds out the pitcher. Frazier singles to right field. And Evans strikes out. So now there's 2 outs, runner first base. Make a pitching change, and they bring in Soto. And he walks Reynolds. Then he throws a wild pitch. Frazier gets second base. Then Moran hits a single to shallow left center, driving in Frazier and moving Reynolds third base. And then Gonzalez hits an infield single to first base, driving in Brian Reynolds. And then finally, Frazier flies to center field. So basically, the Pirates get 2 runs on 3 hits. Score's now 4-2. And that's where the game basically ends. Nothing else happens there. Tigers lose on the save by Richard Rodriguez. Overall, good game by the Pirates. They needed to win. They got to win. Tigers continue to slip. They're now 7-12. Not a good look. Need to do better. Need to pick it up. But now we get to talk about my favorite game of yesterday's game. Diamondbacks versus the Reds. I love the Diamondbacks. I love this game. I can't wait to find out all about it. Super happy right now to find out what the Diamondbacks did last night. So for the Diamondbacks, pitching was Taylor Widener. And Taylor Widener is a young man. He's 26 years old. He's from Aiken, South Carolina. Throws right-handed, 6 feet tall, starting pitcher. This season, he has an ERA of... I can't even tell because ESPN can't do statistics right. They're giving me this weird filter. Doesn't matter. Overall, I like the guy. So he started the game for the Diamondbacks. Starting for the Reds was Jeff Hoffman, the former top prospect, now playing for the Reds, from Latham, New York. Carson Fulmer made an appearance for the Reds too that game. So did Sean Doolittle. So did Romano. I think it's Sal Romano. Yeah, that's right. Sal Romano's pitching for the Reds. Also, there was Lucas Sims. And finally, there was Cionel Perez from Matanzas, Cuba. So a lot of former top prospects who pitched for the Reds today. Wow. Playing for the Diamondbacks, pitching-wise, I know more about these guys. Winner started the game. Then there was J.B. Bukauskas. Then there was Riley Smith from Lufkin, Texas, coming in. Then there was Kevin Ginkel. There was Yohan Lopez from Cuba. Then there was Caleb Smith, who was traded from the Marlins. Then there was Stephon Crichton. Then there was Alex Young to close it out. So Diamondbacks used, I believe, 8 pitchers this game, which is inauspicious, to say the least. Then the Reds used 6, so the two teams used 14 pitchers, on average 7 per team. That's a lot of pitchers. And so this game probably means there's a high-scoring offense today. Now playing in the lineup for the Diamondbacks was Pavon Smith, who started in center field. Now Pavon is a first baseman by trade. He looks like a young Ed Sheeran, so make of that what you will. But he played center field today. At first base was a new guy named Wyatt Matheson, playing first base from Corpus Christi, Texas. And batting third was Josh Van Meter, playing second base. Then batting cleanup was David Peralta, playing left field. Carson Kelly was playing catcher. And Kelly, by the way, Carson Kelly's batting so far .351 for the young season. Off to a great start. Playing third base is Eduardo Escobar. Playing shortstop is Nick Ahmed. Playing right field is Josh Rojas. Playing beyond that pitcher is Taylor Widner. And plenty of pinch hitters along the way. Now for the Reds, starting left field was Jesse Winker. Playing right field was Nick Castellanos. Playing first base was Joey Votto. Shortstop is Eugenio Suarez. Center field is Nick Senzel. Max Schrock was a pinch hitter at one point. Jonathan India, the highly touted rookie, is playing second base. I believe it's Tucker Barnhart is his name. Yeah, the catcher. Third base is Kyle Farmer. And then after that, Jeff Hoffman, of course, started the game and batted. So that was the lineup. And the question remains, how'd they do? So top of first inning, right? Top of first inning. Jeff Hoffman is pitching. The game is played in Cincinnati. So the Reds are in the field first. Diamondbacks bat. So Pavon Smith flies out to center field. Leadoff guy. He takes a ball inside for a four-seamer, 92 miles an hour. Gets another fastball, 93 down the plate. Flies out to center field. 1 out away. Then Matheson strikes out after 8 pitches. A strikeout looking on a slider. And then Josh Van Meter strikes out swinging on a changeup. So Jeff Hoffman has a great first inning. 1, 2, 3, 2 strikeouts. Great job. The Reds are now batting, okay, against Taylor Widner. And leading off is Jesse Winker. He takes a ball, lone outside, 92 miles an hour. Then on a fastball, lone inside, 92 miles an hour, Winker crushes a home run to left field. Just like that, the Reds are up 1-0. Castellanos grounds out to shortstop. Votto flies out to left field. Suarez hits a ball to Eduardo Escobar, who makes a throwing error, and Suarez is now safe at first base. Then Senzel grounds out to the shortstop, so the game is still 1-0, Reds up. The Diamondbacks bat again top of second inning. Peralta hits single center field. That guy's doing great this season. Singles on a fastball, 95 miles an hour. Then Carson Kelly, the catcher, flies out to left field on a 7-pitch at-bat. Then Eduardo Escobar takes 7 pitches again, strikes out looking on a changeup. And then Ahmed grounds into a fielder's choice to second base. So the Diamondbacks aren't doing great so far, but they're really working Jeff Hoffman, taking a lot of pitches. Good strategy. The Reds are up then, and they're batting bomb second inning. So India is up first, and India is the Reds' top prospect. Jonathan India, he was drafted out of high school too, but he chose to play college baseball. Worked out for him drafted first round a few years ago. Great player, we really like him. So he's playing second base today. Against Widner, India takes a foul ball for a slider, swings over a fastball, 91 miles an hour, and strikes out on a high and away fastball, 92 miles an hour. Strikeout for Jonathan India. Then Barnhart grounds out to first base. Then Farmer grounds out to third base. So the Reds are still up 1-0. Diamondbacks bat in the top of third inning. Rojas singles to right center field. Then Widner bats against Jeff Hoffman. First pitch, he swings. And I guess actually he bunts. It must have been a bunt. So he bunts. The catcher, Barnhart, grabs the ball and makes a throwing error. So that was bad. And then Pavon Smith doubles to left field, driving in Rojas and moving Widner to third base. Then Matheson hits sac fly center field, and Widner scores on the tag up. Pavon Smith goes third base. Van Meter walks, and Peralta grounds to double play. Shortstop, to first base, and wait, what? No, the pitcher gets the ball, throws to shortstop, who throws him out to second base. Double play right there. 2-1 Diamondbacks up by 1 run. Then in the bottom third inning, Jeff Hoffman, on a forcing fastball lone inside, hits a single in center field. Then Winker strikes out swinging, Castellanos flies out left field, and Votto strikes out swinging. So Diamondbacks are up 2-1. In top of fourth inning, nothing happens. Kelly fouls out to first base, Escobar strikes out, and Ahmed grounds on second base. 2-1 Arizona still. The Reds do nothing in their bottom of fourth inning. Suarez grounds out, Senzel flies out, India walks, Barnhart strikes out swinging. Nothing really happens. 2-1, Arizona up by 1. Top of fifth inning, Arizona does nothing again. Ross grounds out, Winter grounds out, Pavon Smith singles, but Matheson hits a pop fly to second base. 2-1, Arizona still, nothing happening much. The Reds do nothing again in their half of the fifth inning. So boring game for the last 4 innings, right? Nothing happens. But in top of the sixth inning, the Reds bring in Carson Fulmer. Uh-oh. Who has not had a great season, or previous seasons, to put it mildly. So, Josh Van Meter is batting, takes a strike-looking 92 miles an hour, but walks against Fulmer. His fastball today topped out at 92, which makes me wonder if Fulmer's velocity is declining and if that's the reason for his limited effectiveness. So, Van Meter walks, and then there's a pinch runner. Then Peralta takes a curveball for a ball, fastball for a ball, and hits a home run to right field. 400 feet, driving in the runner, 2-run home run, Diamondbacks up 4-1. The Reds get the runs back in their half of the sixth inning. So this inning is crazy, right? It's just crazy. So there's some defensive changes by the Diamondbacks. Pavon Smith's at first base. Matheson gets moved to third base. Heath, the pinch runner, is in center field. And Escobar is moved to second base. So Widner is still pitching, right? No reason why he shouldn't be. They're up 4-1. So Widner pitches. First batter he faces is Nick Castellanos. So Widner chooses to meet Castellanos head on. So fastball for a strike, fastball for a ball, changeup for a home run. So Castellanos reduces the gap. It's now 4-3 Diamondbacks. But then Votto singles to right field. And then Suarez hits a home run center field. 2-run home run. Votto scores, Suarez scores. Tie game 4-4. Ouch. So Diamondbacks then change pitchers from Widner to Bukauskas. Because why wouldn't you at this point? So the game is still 4-4. Now, the next innings get pretty crazy. So buckle up, hold onto your hats, pay attention. So Carson Fulmer is still pitching for Cincinnati. And he walks Rojas on 6 pitches. And then Andrew Young is pitching for Bukauskas. Rojas steals second base, and Andrew Young walks. So now there's runners on second and first base with nobody out. The Diamondbacks, it's a tie game. Diamondbacks are in scoring position. They bring in Sean Doolittle to pitch for the Reds. And then Pavon Smith flies to left field. No one advances. Matheson singles left field, scoring Rojas from second base. And Andrew Young goes second base. Then Heath walks. Now the bases are loaded. Diamondbacks up 5-4. Then Peralta singles left field, driving in both Young and Matheson, and Heath goes second base. So now there's runners on first and second, 2 outs, Diamondbacks up 7-4. Carson Kelly walks, bases loaded. Escobar walks, bases loaded. So now the Diamondbacks are up 8-4. Then Ahmed pops up, and Rojas strikes out swinging. So, ouch. Diamondbacks bat around that inning, 4 runs, 2 hits, plenty of walks, no errors. Diamondbacks up 8-4. The Reds reduce the gap in their half of 7th inning. So Blandino is facing off against Riley Smith. It's a double to deep left center field. Then Winker hits a home run to center field, driving himself and Blandino. 2-run home run. Diamondbacks up 8-6. Castellanos grounds out to shortstop. Okay? And then Ginkel pitches for the Diamondbacks now. Pitching change. Then Votto basically sees Ginkel. 8-pitch at bat. On the 8th pitch, high-tight fastball. Votto turns on it, ties the game, or actually hits a home run to right field. And now the Diamondbacks are only up by 1 run. Suarez and Senzel strike out apiece. So the game is still 8-7 for Diamondbacks. Top of the 8th inning, Diamondbacks do nothing. Bottom of the 8th, the Reds tie it up. So Jonathan India, the top prospect, hits a home run off Yohan Lopez off a slider to right center field. 388 feet, tie game. The Diamondbacks in the top of the 9th inning do nothing, and the Reds do nothing in their half. So now the game's in extra innings, right? Extra innings. And Lucas Sims, the former top prospect, pitches for the Reds. And Rojas, and remember, in extra innings now for baseball, there's an automatic runner on second base every time that there's an extra inning. So they put Cabrera on second base, Asdrubal Cabrera, to be the ghost runner. And Rojas is batting. And Rojas, on the 6th pitch of the at-bat, single center field, Cabrera scores. Now Diamondbacks are up by 1 run, 9-8. And then, from there, Perez pitches for Cincinnati to replace Lucas Sims. And Peralta, with the bases loaded, hits a triple to deep left center field. Stephen Vogt scores, Pavon Smith scores, and Heath scores. So now Diamondbacks are up 12-8. Then Peralta at second base, Kelly hits a home run to left field. Now it scores 14-8. Now the Reds are batting in the bottom 10th inning. There is, of course, a ghost runner at second base now. And India fouls out to first base, 1 out. Then Barnhart singles to right field, driving in Max Schrock, who was on second base. Then Alex Young pitches for Arizona. And eventually, Castellanos singles left field, drives in Naquin, drives in Stevenson. Winker to second base. But Valdo strikes out to end the game. So Diamondbacks win a crazy caper, 14-11. In that game, 14-11, there were 13 hits by the Reds, 14 by Diamondbacks, 1 error apiece. Bad game. Jeff Hoffman gives up 1 earned run in 5 innings. Former gives up 4 earned runs in his 1 inning. Just an ugly game overall. But hey, that happens sometimes. All you can do is appreciate it for what it is and move on to the next. And with that, we'll see you after the break. Only at the GSMC Baseball Podcast. Thank you very much.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Boys, welcome back to the podcast. This is the GSMC Baseball Podcast. It's time to answer a trivia question. Remember, last quarter? Half? I don't know what to call it anymore. I think it's like the last segment. I asked you guys, what was the original name of the Chicago Cubs? And I'm guessing everybody got that one wrong because the answer is the Chicago Orphans. Yep, the Chicago Orphans was the name of the Chicago Cubs team. And they changed the name probably because it sounded too macabre for conventional audiences, because that implies that the kids' parents aren't around anymore, and that's just no one wants that. So the Cubbies sounds cuter, more wholesome, marketable. Like, what would even be the logo of an orphan, like some cartoon face crying? So the Chicago Cubs have a better name now, clearly. And we're still talking about the game scores. So we finished off the Pirates and the Tigers. We talked about the Diamondbacks too. And now we got to talk about the Yankees and the Indians. The Yankees and the Indians. Let's talk about that. So first of all, I have to say, I like the Yankees a lot. They're a good team. I enjoy them. So on the bump for the Yankees today was Domingo Germán. And he's a good pitcher. Young guy, 28 years old, throws hard from San Pedro de Macorís. I like him a lot. Good guy. He was a little bump today for the Yankees. Pitching in relief was Jonathan Losaiga. He's from Nicaragua. Not many of those players around anymore. So he's from Nicaragua. Then pitching again for the Yankees was Chad Green. By the way, Chad Green used to be a model. Yeah, he used to be actually like a model for like, I believe it was like just fashion or something, but he was, a young model for a while. And closing it out was Aroldis Chapman, who, by the way, is off to a killer start this year. He's doing great. And spoiler alert, he struck out the side today. Excellent job. Pitching for the Indians was Aaron Seville on the bump. Big guy, 6'2", pitched great from East Windsor, Connecticut. Pitching relief was Brian Shaw, who's been around forever. Brian Shaw's one of those guys who's never going to stop pitching. He's been around forever. From Livermore, California. Then there was Nick Whitgren. Nick Whitgren, I believe is his name. Pitching in relief. There's a new guy named James Karinchak from Walden, New York. He's 25, pitched for the Indians today. Then there was Cal Quantrill. I believe it's his name, Quantrill. He's 26 years old. He's from Port Hope, Ontario. He's the son of a former Major League pitcher himself. So that's awesome. And I think it's Paul Quantrill was his father. And pitching relief for the Indians was Oliver Perez at 39 years old from Mexico. Excellent work. And that sound was my cat launching herself off my lap onto the floor. She got tired of that pretty soon. For the Yankees, there was Brett Garner in left field, the South Carolina product. Then there's DJ LeMahieu at third base. Excellent. Then Aaron Judge at DH. Love to see that. Then there's Mike Ford at first base. Gleyber Torres at shortstop, who's on my fantasy team. I really want Gleyber to do well. We're rooting for him strongly in the Vina household. So after that, there's Aaron Hicks in center field, switch hitter. Roned Odor at second base, the new product, the new acquisition, beardless and ready to go. Doing well so far, doing well. Clint Frazier in right field, the redhead. And Kyle Higashioka at catcher, who, by the way, is the best hitter on the Yankees roster so far. At this point, he's been the healthiest he's stayed in the game. He's off to a good start, and he's kind of been pointing the team along. Good for him. Now for the Indians, Jordan Luplow in center field. Then there's Cesar Hernandez at second base, Jose Ramirez at third base, Eddie Rosario in left field, Franmil Reyes at DH, Josh Naylor in right field, Jake Bowers at first base, and the catcher is Roberto Perez from Mayagüez, Puerto Rico. A countryman. We love that guy. And, of course, there was the newly acquired Andres Jimenez, who's replacing Francisco Lindor. Is that a good deal? I don't know. Let's find out. So, we're going to do this with a play-by-play, if that's okay with you. So, the thing you ought to know is that in the first inning, the game is hosted in Progressive Field, right? So, the Indians are the home team, and the Yankees are batting first. So, Aaron Seville's on the bump again, and he pitches to Brett Garner. 6-pitch at bat, Garner walks, right? And then he faces DJ LeMahieu, runner first base. LeMahieu's batting, and after 6 pitches again, Seville throws a sinker, lone outside, and LeMahieu strikes out swinging. Then Aaron Judge, this 7-foot behemoth, is batting, and he walks on 5 pitches. Garner goes second base, so now runners first and second, 1 out. Mike Ford flies out to right field on a first pitch curveball. And then with 2 outs, run scoring position, Gleyber Torres strikes out swinging on 7 pitches. Strikes out on a high cut fastball from Seville. So no runs, no hits, no errors. The Indians now bat the ball first inning, and Luplow is facing off against Domingo Germán. And Luplow strikes out looking at a sinker. Just clips the outside corner, 91 miles an hour. Good job, Germán. Then on that same pitch, Cesar Hernandez hits a single left center field. And then with runner first base, Jose Ramirez doubled right field, sending Hernandez to third base. So runner on second, third base, 1 out. Eddie Rosario hits an infield single to first base. So Hernandez scores and Ramirez goes third base. At this point, Germán's throwing mostly changeups and curveballs at this point, not many fastballs. So then, Franmil Reyes hits fielder's choice to the pitcher, and Ramirez scores on the play. And apparently, Herman got the ball and made a throwing error. So it looks like everybody's safe, right? Runs first and second, and run scores. Now they're up 2-0. So then Josh Naylor is batting. He hits single to right field. Eddie Rosario scores. Franmil Reyes goes second base. And now the Indians are up 3-0. Ouch, right? Now, the game is pretty quiet for the next several innings. In top third inning, though, Savell is still pitching and Hishioga is batting. And the catcher, Hishioga, hits a double to deep right center field. Just cracks it, double on a cut fastball. Then Savell balks. Savell balks. Here's a trivia question for you. Define balk. What is a balk? What happens? What's the penalty? How did it begin? What do you know about balking? Okay, so Hishioga is balked to third base. Garner strikes out, and LeMahieu hits a single to left field. Hishioga scores. Okay, 3-1. Yankees down. Got some momentum. Judge strikes out swinging. Judge, I swear, every time I watch him play, he's striking out, man. His strikeout rate when I'm watching him is like 100%. So he strikes out swinging on cut fastball. Mike Ford walks, runs to first and second. Torres hits single to right center field. And LeMahieu and Ford score on a fielding error by Josh Naylor. And finally, Hicks pops at shortstop. So the game is now 3-3. Yankees and Indians tied. And then the game's quiet for some extra innings until the top of 7th inning. At this point, Nick Whitgren is pitching for the Indians. Good pitcher. LeMahieu strikes out looking to lead off the inning. Judge walks. 4 pitches. Whitgren just can't find the zone. He walks. Mike Ford strikes out swinging. And then with 2 outs, Torres hits single center field. Judge goes to second base. So now there's a run scoring position, and then Aaron Hicks walks again on 4 pitches. So Whitgren is having trouble finding the zone. Base loaded 2 outs. Ronaldo Odor hits a single center field. Judge scores. Judge scores. I said scores. It's like I'm the guy in Lord of the Rings. Judge scores. Torres scores. Hicks goes second base. Frazier then strikes out looking. So the Yankees are up 5-3. And they most stay there. The Yankees do get an extra run on an extra home run by Kyle Hishioga to center field, 420 feet, off of Cal Quantrill. And then that's where the game ends. 6-3, Yankees win. Yankees win. Excellent job. So that was the Yankees and the Indians. And then after that, there is the Mariners and the Red Sox. And remember, the Mariners are off to a great start. They're 12-7, and the Red Sox are off to a decent start too. They're 12-8. Good teams. Great job. The Red Sox have a plus 23 run differential. The Mariners have a plus 1 run differential. So you had to put your money on it, probably the Red Sox, but let's find out. Who knows? So if you go to the box score, which is my favorite part, it's like a neat little tidy thing. Justin Dunn was pitching for the Mariners, and Dunn is from Pacific Northeast. Good pitcher. He went to, I think, Boston College. He's from Freeport, New York. He's a good pitcher. I like him a lot, 25 years old. Anyway, started the game for the Mariners. Relieving him was Will Vest from Texas, 25 years old. Good name. I like it. Will Vest. Then there is Casey Sadler from Oklahoma pitching for the Mariners as well. After that, there is Kendall Graveman, the starting pitcher turned reliever. Then there's Rafael Montero, who's pitching in relief. And then finally, closing it out is a new guy named Anthony Misiewicz. Misiewicz. Anthony Misiewicz. He's a lefty from Chesterfield, Michigan. You know what? I like this guy, man. The guys that have hard to say names, I root for him because I relate to it. My last name's Yavina. No one can spell it, so I like this kid. Let's hope he does well. Pitching for the Red Sox is Nick Pivetta, the Canadian, on the bump. Then there's the former Diamondback Matt Andriese. Then there's Adam Ottavino. Then there's Matt Barnes, and then Darwinzon Hernandez closing out the game. So that was the pitching for the Red Sox. For the Mariners, batting right field is Mitch Haniger, the Diamondbacks transplant that we stupidly, foolishly traded away. Should have done that. DH is Ty France. Third base, Cal Seager, otherwise known as Corey's brother. Center field is Cal Lewis. First base is Evan White. Left field is Taylor Trammell. Catcher is Luis Torrens. Pinch runner is Sam Haggerty. Second base is Dylan Moore. Catcher is Tom Murphy. And shortstop is J.P. Crawford. Now for the Red Sox, second base is Kike Hernandez from Puerto Rico. Center field is Alex Verdugo. DH is J.D. Martinez. Shortstop is Xander Bogaerts. Third base is Rafael Devers. Catcher is Christian Vasquez. And first base is Marwin Gonzalez from Venezuela. I love this guy. I love Marwin. He's a great player, great name. You can't help but root for that guy. After Marwin is batting, he's again at first base. Hunter Renfroe's at right field, and French Cordero's in left field. So recognizable names, more relevant players at least. So all right, Graham, how they do? Who actually won the game? Well, I'll tell you. So the game's played at Fenway Park. So pitching is Nick Pivetta for the Red Sox, facing off against the Mariners. Mitch Haniger is batting first. Flies out the left field. Ty France lines up center field. And finally, Seager hits a line drive to second base. 3 up, 3 down, no runs, no hits allowed. For the Red Sox, ball in first inning. Kike Hernandez faced off against Justin Dunn. He strikes out swinging on a curveball, lone away. Then Verdugo hits a triple to right field. Four-seamer, crushes it, triple. All right. Then Martinez gets 3 straight curveballs from Dunn. Curveball, 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 strikes out swinging. Then finally, Bogaerts bats. He takes a ball, takes a curveball, takes a ball, and strikes out on a curveball lone inside. Good pitching from Justin Dunn to work himself out of trouble. Top second inning, the Mariners are up. Lewis flies to center field. Evan White grounds out, and Trammell flies out to right field. 3 up, 3 down. The Red Sox are up again. Devers, facing off against Dunn, takes a ball, curveball inside, then gets a four-seamer lone away, crush it to right field for home run. 427 feet. Good job, Rafael Devers. After that, the game's pretty quiet until the 4th inning, when Dunn's still pitching on the mound. So Devers hits a single to right center field. Red Sox are still up 1-0. But Devers, who by the way can't run, steals second base. Then Vasquez grounds out to second base. Devers goes third base. Marwin is hit by a pitch. Then Renfroe singles to right field on a low and inside four-seam fastball, driving Rafael Devers. Then Dunn works himself out of trouble, but still damage has been done. Then in top of 6th inning, Nick Pivetta is still on the mound for the Red Sox. Torrens flies out, Moore strikes out, J.P. Crawford walks, then Haniger walks, and then Ty France hits a double to left center field, driving in Haniger and Crawford. 2-2 game. France goes further base, tries to get greedy, gets thrown out like a dog. So 2-2 game. Red Sox and Mariners tied up. At this point, Vest comes in to pitch for the Mariners, holds the Red Sox scoreless. Bottom of the 7th inning, with Sadler pitching for Seattle, Kike hits triple to center field. Verdugo strikes out. Then Sadler pitches a wild pitch. Kike scores. Red Sox are up 3-2. And then the Red Sox, on top of the 8th inning, get it back. Ottaviano's on the mound for the Red Sox. He walks Torrens. Sam Haggerty pinch runs. Marmolejos pinch hits for Dylan Moore. Haggerty steals second base. Marmolejos, and my cat screams for me for the other side of the room. Marmolejos walks. Crawford hits a sacrifice bunt. Haggerty scores on a throwing error by the pitcher Ottavino. Marmolejos goes second base. Tie game 3-3. And then in the, top of the 10th inning. Remember, this is where they start adding ghost runners to the equation. Trammell sacrifices to the catcher. Evan White moves to third base. Haggerty hits a double to left field and drives in Evan White. So now the game is 4-3 for the Mariners. Murphy flies out to right field. Crawford walks. And then Mitch Haniger hits a 3-run home run to right center field. Scores Haggerty, himself, and J.P. Crawford. And the Red Sox can't answer back because Miss Whisks grounds out all 3 guys. And the game is over, just like that. Good, clean game. Good, clean game. We like to see that. And next up is the Mets and the Cubbies. So the Mets, going into this game, let me review, are leading their division at 7-7, 500 ball, despite a negative 15 run differential. And the Cubbies are also even at 9-9, 2 games back, they've got a negative 8 run differential. So both teams have potential to do better, but have not exercised it. So lots of implications for the game. So I won't tell you one at first, but you'll probably get the gist after the first couple of innings. So pitching for the Mets is Joey Lucchesi. Is that his name? Yeah, it's Joey Lucchesi. He was from Padres originally. He's got a guy that has that Hideo Nomo windup. Then there is Sean Reed-Foley, who pitched in relief, Trevor May, Aaron Loop, Miguel Castro, and Edwin Diaz. For the Cubs, there's Trevor Williams, Jason Adam in relief. Then there's Ryan Tepera, Andrew Chafin, Craig Kimbrell, and Daniel Winkler, all pitching for the Cubbies. Good lineup. And the actual starting 9 for the Mets were Luis Guillorme at third base, Francisco Lindor at shortstop, Dwight Smith in left field, Peter Alonso at first base, Michael Conforto in right field, James McCann at catcher, Jonathan Villar at second base, Kevin Pillar in center field. And then that's my cat just destroying some furniture in the background. I can't stop her, though. So just to reiterate, Luis Guillorme at third base, Lindor at shortstop, Dwight Smith Jr. in left field, Peter Alonso at first base, Michael Conforto in right field, James McCann at catcher, Jonathan Villar at second base, Kevin Pillar at center field, Brandon Nimmo pinch hitting, and J.D. Davis pinch hitting. Jeff McNeil also was batting at second base, so let's see how that goes. And for the Cubbies, Ian Happ was in left field, Wilson Contreras in center and catcher, Chris Bryant in right field, Anthony Rizzo at first base, Javier Baez at shortstop, Matt Duffy at third base, David Bodie at second, Jake Marisnick in center field, and Eric Sogard pinch hit for him later on in the game. Coming in, of course, pitching was Trevor Williams, and Jason Hayward also pinch hit later in the game. We'll talk about that a lot in great detail because he had a big role today. We'll cover all these details and more after the break, only at the GSMC Baseball Podcast. Remember, the trivia question is, what is a balk? How do you commit it? Who's responsible for it? Who calls it? And what's the penalty? Stay tuned for more after the break, only at the GSMC Baseball Podcast. Thank you very much.
Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
Hello, boys. We're back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Graham Evina, and tonight we're still talking baseball. So before the break, I talked to you guys about the Mets and the Cubbies, that game they played a few days ago. Who won? Who really won? So remember, this was a game that was headed by Trevor Williams versus Joey Lucchesi. All right? So let's get started. They're playing at Wrigley Field. Okay? So the first batter for the Mets was Luis Guillorme, playing third base, who was basically asked to sort of replace Frankie Lindor. Okay, which is like, okay, man, good luck. I hope he does. Because if he doesn't, then you got a lot of explaining to do. So, Guillorme flies up to left field. And Lindor also flies up to left field. And then Dwight Smith singles to right field, and Peter Alonso grounds to second base. So just like that, with one hit allowed to Dominic Smith, there's no runs but one hit allowed. For the Cubbies, bomb first inning. Lucchesi pitches for New York, Happ grounds to third base, Contreras strikes out, and Bryant strikes out swinging. So 3 up, 3 down. And the game is very quiet for the first 3 innings until the bottom third. Lucchesi's on the bump for the Mets, strikes out Bodie, he walks Marisnick, and he also walks Williams, the pitcher. That's embarrassing. See, on that at bat, Lucchesi just throws 4 straight balls to the pitcher. Curveball, curveball, sinker, sinker, and he just misses. Walks the pitcher on 4 pitches. That's bad. So then, after Happ lines up to right field, Contreras reaches on an infield single to the pitcher. Merzick scores, and Williams goes second base. After that, Bryan hits a double to deep left center field. Contreras scores, Williams scores, Bryan goes third base on the throw, and Rizzo grounds out. And the Cubs put up a 3 spot and score 3 runs. That's pretty good. After that, the Mets decide they can't tolerate that, so Dominic Smith hits a double to deep left field. Then Peter Alonso hits a home run for the second straight game. 2-run home run, 3-2 Cubs. After that, the game continues to be fairly quiet till the 7th inning. In 7th inning, on the bump is Ryan Tepera for the Chicago Cubs. PR flies out to right field. Evan Davis, I believe it's J.D. Davis, doubles to deep center field, driving in VR. So then that basically means that the game's tied 3-3. Chafin comes on the pitch for the Chicago Cubs. And by the way, Andrew Chafin was a former Diamondback, called the Sheriff for his habitual mustache. And he got Lindor to pop out to first base. Tie game 3-3 for the Mets and the Cubs. After that, the Cubs batted in the bottom of the 7th inning, didn't do much. And the game is pretty quiet until the top of the 10th inning. Whereas pinch runner on second base, because of the ghost rule, the Mets do not score. Amazingly. So there's a run on second base. PR is the ghost runner. He goes third on a wild pitch by the pitcher, Winkler. But then McNeil strikes out. Guillorme walks. Lindor walks. But then Smith grounds to double play. So they had a run on third base with nobody out in the top of the 10th inning. They couldn't get him home. That's embarrassing. And of course, the Cubs won the game in their half of 10th inning. So Duffy is hit by a pitch, Matt Duffy. Then Bodie hits a bunt, and so Duffy goes to second base, Baez goes third base. Sogard pinch hits for Merznick, he's walked. Then Hayward, batting with base loaded, tie game, 1 out, chance to win it all, hits a single to right field and drives in Baez, and the game's over. Cubs win on a walk-off hit by Jason Hayward, 4-3. So that game really should have been won by the Mets, I'd say, but they didn't take advantage, and the Cubs took it from them. That's how baseball works, how life works, actually. Can't complain if you don't try. So, after that, there's 3 more games left. The Angels and the Astros are playing. Good deal. So, the Angels, if you don't remember, are now 9-8, 2 games back, 4 runs behind the first place Mariners. They've lost the last 2 games. Let's find out how they did. And playing against them was the Astros, who are now last in their division. After a strong start, the Astros fell off like you wouldn't believe. They are now 2-8 in their last 10 games. Ouch. So both teams could use some helium. Let's find out who won the game. So, excuse me, pardon my French. Pitching for the Angels was Alex Cobb, which is always a mistake. That's pretty mean, but I stand by my words. I stand by it. Pitching in relief was Alex Claudio. Pitching in relief 2 was Junior Guerra from Venezuela. Pitching in relief. Then there's Ben Rowan, the submarine pitcher, in relief for the Angels as well. After that, for the Astros, there was, I believe it's Christian Javier from Dominican Republic, 24 years old, off to a great start of the season. After that, there was Brian Abreu. I saw B. Abreu, thought it was Bobby Abreu, but no, it's Brian Abreu. 24 years old, from Dominican Republic. Good to see him too. And then after that, there was, I believe it's Brooks Raley. Yep, that's right. 32 years old, from Uvalde, Texas. After that, there was Joe Smith, contender for the most interesting name in baseball, Joe Smith. But he, of course, is still playing after 37 years. He's still in the big leagues. And then finally, Ryan Presley came in from Dallas, Texas. So, playing in the lineups for the Angels were David Fletcher at second base, Shohei Ohtani at DH, Mike Trout in center field, Scott Schebler in center, replacing Trout after Trout was hit by a pitch and had to leave the game. So obviously we wish for try to have a speedy recovery. Then we have in right field Jared Walsh, the top prospect from Dublin, Georgia. Wishing him the best. And then we have Albert Pujols at first base. We have Jose Iglesias at shortstop. We have Jose Rojas at third base. Then we have Kurt Suzuki at catcher. Good team. And it's always nice when both Ohtani and Trout are in the same lineup the same day. And Justin Upton, too. I love Upton. He's one of my favorite players. Probably because he came out as a Diamondback. So after him, there is the Astros lineup. So Carlos Correa was playing shortstop. Michael Brantley Jr. was playing left field. Alex Bregman was playing third base. Yordan Alvarez playing DH. Yulieski Gurriel playing first base. Cal Tucker in right field. Aledmys Diaz at second base. Miles Straw in center field. And Martin Maldonado, the Puerto Rican, at catcher. So let's find out how they all did, right? Let's find out how the game went. Play by play. So, the game was played in the Astros ball club. So, the Angels were visiting, Astros were hosting. So, pitching was Christian Javier for the Astros, facing off against David Fletcher for the first batter in the Angels lineup. He strikes out Fletcher. So, Fletcher gets up there and strikes out swinging on a slider low and away. After that, Ohtani bats, and he strikes out on changeup, high and inside. And then Javier walks Mike Trout, unintentionally, 5 pitches. And then Jared Walsh bats and strikes out swinging on a 4-seam fastball. So then, Astros are batting in the bottom of the first inning against Alex Cobb. They get 2 hits. Bregman singles right field, Alvarez singles center field, but they can't do anything with that. So the Astros do not score in their half of the first inning. And the game is relatively quiet until the bottom of the second inning. So Alex Cobb is still on the mound. Diaz leads off, takes a ball, sinker, low inside, and then crushes a knuckle curve for a double to left field. Then Miles Straw triples to left field on a sinker, scoring Diaz and sending him third base. Martin Maldonado strikes out swinging. Correa hits a ground ball to first base. Straw scores. Brantley strikes out. Bregman's hit by a pitch. Correa goes second base. Alvarez walks, bases loaded. Then Gurriel walks the bases loaded. Because Cobb can't find the strike zone. He throws splitter 3-2, misses. So now it's a run scored. Then Tucker lands on second base. After that, Rojas hits double to deep left center field, but nothing scores for the Angels. And the Astros do score more runs in their half of the third inning. So Correa, single center field, drives in Martin Maldonado, who reached on double earlier. Then Bregman singles left field, scoring Correa and Brantley. Then in the bottom of the fourth inning, they finally replace Cobb with Alex Claudio. And Guerra, the new pitcher for the Angels, gives up another run to Miles Straw, who hits a ground ball and drives in Tucker from third base. So now the Astros are up 7-0. After that, the Astros score more runs in the bottom fifth inning. So Bregman singles center field off of Guerra and drives in Correa. So 8-0 for the Astros. After that, the Angels score some more runs in the top of the sixth inning. So Pujols, with Justin Upton walking and was on first base, Pujols hits a home run to right field. And they actually have to do a video replay because it bounces off of the foul pole. The umpires convene and they call it a home run. Upton scores, Pujols scores, 8-2 Astros still on top. And then the game basically ends there. Nothing much happens. And that's basically it for the Astros and the Angels affair today. But now let's talk about balking. That was the question I asked you before the break. How does balk happen? And here's how it happens. Rule 602, parentheses A. A balk shall be called audibly, balk or that's a balk, by the umpire who is pointing laterally at the pitcher. The ball is not dead automatically when this call is made. It becomes dead only when the umpire calls time after a balk is delivered. A pitcher shall be charged with a balk if, while in contact with the rubber, he throws to a fielder who is either in front of or behind first base or third base, and obviously not making an attempt at retiring the runner at that base. However, There is no violation when the pitcher actually throws a ball directly to the first or third baseman situation. There's also a balk when a pitcher swings any part of his free foot past the back edge of the pitcher's rubber. It is a balk if he does not pitch the batter, unless he throws or feints the throw to second base on a pickoff play. If the knee of the pitcher's free leg passes behind the back edge of the rubber, he may legally throw to first base, no violation. Other balk steps include if you're touching the pitcher's plate and you do not step directly towards the base before throwing to that base, it's a balk. And that's basically it for the rules, but what a balk is often subject to interpretation. And there's all the way down to P for variations of things that could be ruled as balks. So there are many things that you can do that just look illegal. And what comes down to is if you're on the mound and you're pitching, you make an action that's designed to confuse the runner, even unintentionally, by either not throwing directly to the base or by feinting throw to a runner, that could be called a balk at the umpire's discretion. That's often subjective, and that could be a cause for ire for many players and fans. As I watch a balk getting called, and you say, no way, that wasn't a balk. So that was just something that I wanted to reconcile from earlier. But now we're back with contemporary baseball, and we're talking about the Marlins and the Giants. And guys, if you don't know, something so cute happened in this game, so cute. This was played at Oracle Park with the Giants, and the camera's caught in the 7th inning. This young man and his girlfriend, apparently, who were holding a pet rabbit in their laps. So they're watching the game, and there's just like this rabbit on this guy's lap, just watching baseball together. And he's petting the rabbit, and it's just so cute. So I'm a grown man, 23 years old, but the guy having a pet rabbit watching baseball looks so comfy. So check it out. It's all over YouTube. Rabbit baseball Giants game. You'll see it. Anyway, so the Giants play the Marlins as well. And the Giants, going to this game, remember they're playing in the NL West. We're 12-7 with .632 winning percentage, 10 +1 differential, winning streak of 1 game. And the Marlins, which I really like as a team, are 8-10. So fairly evenly matched teams. Pitching on the mound for the Marlins was a guy named Daniel Castaño from Orlando, Florida. He's a lefty, 26 years old. Then there's Zach Pop, or as Joe Biden would say, Corn Pop, is pitching. He's from Brampton, Ontario. Oh, he's Canadian. That's cool. And then they have John Curtis with 2 S's from Texas. They all pitched for the Marlins that day. The Giants had Aaron Sanchez on the mound. He's from California. California. And then they had Gregory Santos from San Cristobal, Dominican Republic. 21 years old. Very young. They have Matt Whistler. They have Tyler Rogers, who's one half of a twin group, Tyler and Taylor Rogers. And then finally they have Jake McGee closing the game out. And McGee struck out the side of that game, which is good for him. Congratulations. Throwing 1 pitch and still getting strikeouts. That's awesome. Anyway, so in the lineup today for the Marlins was Jazz Chisholm, the Diamondback transplant who went to the Marlins, Miguel Rojas playing shortstop, Jose Aguilar playing first base, Adam Duvall playing, I think it's right field. Yeah, it's right field. Corey Dickerson playing left field. And then there's center fielder is Luz Brinson. Third base is John Berti. Catcher is Chad Wallach. And pinch hitting at some point was Garrett Cooper, I believe. Yep, Garrett Cooper from Auburn, Alabama. We love to see that. And for the Giants, hitting was Austin Slater, center fielder, Wilmer Flores, first base, Mike Yastrzemski, right field, Evan Longoria, third base, Darren Ruff, left fielder, Kurt Casale, catcher, Tommy LaStella, second base, Mauricio Dubon, shortstop, and of course, Brandon Crawford pinch at some point. So what happened during the game? What happened? What was the recap here? So here's the play-by-play. In the... I'm trying to find it out right now. Okay, so Sanchez starting the game for the Giants. The Marlins are batting first. So Jazz Chisholm singles to left center field. Then Rojas gets hit by a pitch. Aguilar hits in double play. Duvall flies out. Nothing, Miami and San Francisco. Giants bat and ball in first inning. Slater grounds out. Flores lines out. And Yastrzemski summoning his genes from his grandfather, crushes a double to deep center field. Longoria walks. Darren Ruff doubles left field, drives in Yastrzemski, drives Longoria third base. Gonzalez drives in Longoria home. Darren Ruff scores, and that's that. So 3-0. The Giants are now up. And the game stays like that for a while. In fact, another run is not scored all game. The game ends 3-0 for the Giants on top. The Marlins lost. Closing it out was Jake McGee. He struck out Gary Cooper swinging. He struck out Jazz Chisholm looking. And Rojas struck out swinging. So dominant performance from McGee. The Giants won. Marlins sunk to 8-10. Tough to see because I like the Marlins, who, by the way, had the best stadium in baseball. And briefly, let's talk about the Padres and the Dodgers. So the Padres, going into this game, were 11-10. Dodgers were 14-5. So both teams are on the up and up. So playing today for the Padres was Ryan Weathers, the pitcher, and pitching for the Dodgers was Walker Buehler. And for the Padres, shortstop was Fernando Tatis Jr., center field was Trent Grisham, third base Manny Machado, first base Eric Hosmer, right field Will Myers, second base Jake Cronenworth, catcher Luis Campuzano, left field Jurickson Profar, pitching Ryan Weathers. For Dodgers, center field is Mookie Betts, shortstop is Corey Seager, third base Justin Turner, catcher Will Smith, first base Mac Muncy, left field is AJ Pollock, second base Sheldon Neuse, or Neuse, 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 not sure how to pronounce that. Right field is Luke Raley, pitcher is Walker Buehler. So, play-by-play, you go over here, and it looks as if the first inning, nothing happened, second inning, nothing happened, third inning, nothing happened. Quiet game till the top of the fourth inning, when Machado singles to left center and drives in Tatis Jr. from second base. 1-0, Padres are up. And then, in the top of the sixth inning, Trent Grisham hits a home run to right field against Walker Buehler. 2-0, Padres up. And then, the Dodgers tied all the bottom of the seventh inning. Pollock hits a home run to left field. Neuse hits home run to center field. Tie game 2-2. And then, Tatis Jr. grounds to double play that scores, I believe, Profar from third base, 3-2 Padres. After that, that's how they win the game. So that was the game between the Padres and the Dodgers. And our time's up for this week, but I wanted to say thank you for listening. I appreciate all the viewers and all the readers. Comment, leave a comment, subscribe, stick around for more. I'm Graham Uvina, and you've been watching the GSMC Baseball Podcast. Thank you very much.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.